All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome in to Scone T.
Yo, Moose, can I get some sound in my ears, brother? Can you hear me? Am I good to go? Okay, if he can hear me, I'm fine.
You can't hear yourself?
I can't hear you either. I got no sound in my ears. He got me. Moose got me. What's going on, y'all? Welcome in to Scone T. Glad to be back. Thanks for letting us take last week off. Enjoying a little Thanksgiving. Okay, there we go. Yep. Got myself now. We're good. I can do this. This is perfect. Perfect. Right on. There we go. Matt, the old blue-collar radio roots coming through once again. Yeah, we are very happy to be back here. Unfortunately, it's after that devastating, moist pile of crap that was Saturday night in College Station.
Did you say moist pile of crap?
Is there any better string of adjectives to describe what you had to witness Saturday night?
Yeah, definitely better than that.
Garbage Jimbo Fisher offense that only managed to put up 30 points against Sam Houston. Didn't just beat you, but kind of dominated you. Not kind of, did dominate you. And look, I get it. We don't have to belabor the point. We can move on. SEC championship. Let's see what can happen.
Let's move on.
But you know, since we weren't on last week and we're on this week, I figured that we had to at least get some sort of opening statement on it.
Thanks for being here. We're at Oliver Twist. I feel like standing right now. I'm going to stand for a little while.
I completely understand that. I've become a stander in the studio.
We're at Oliver Twist, Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. Always love coming here. Appreciate the guys for having us. Sorry we missed last week, but we're glad to be back this week. T-Bob, the next time we do a show, will be a dad times 3.
Yep.
How does that feel? How does that sound?
Pretty intimidating.
Really?
At this point, yeah.
Why?
Just because, you know.
The whole switching from man-to-man to zone thing?
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
I don't know. I only have one kid.
Yeah, no, just, I don't know,
My one
man.
kid's a handful, but it's just one.
Yeah, I mean, but everybody who's a parent gets it, dude. It doesn't matter. Everything in life is just adding more responsibility, getting used to that, and then adding more responsibility. So that's all this is.
Yeah.
And it just comes at a time where, well, I have been feeling great. This really all went fuckity because after A&M Saturday, my body completely shut down. I don't know what it was. It was just too much whiskey and wine, too much Scone and tea during the season, too much sports, too many takes. I was so full of hot air all fall long that my body literally shut down. I mean, I tested negative for the flu, tested negative for COVID, felt absolutely awful. But about like 5 or 6 hours ago, it started to turn, and I started to feel normal once again. So I'm regaining some confidence. No, I tested negative for everything.
Negative for the vid, negative for the flu. What, your body was just shutting down on you?
Shutting down. Horrible aches and pains, sweating and shivering uncontrollably.
Did you have
not sleeping?
Maybe you had West Nile.
They said it could be something viral. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. All I know is, thank God, around the afternoon today, I finally started to feel normal. So, like, I was in pure panic this morning. I'm feeling a bit more confident tonight.
Dude, I can't even imagine with a baby like 48 hours away and then you're like sick.
And I haven't been sick. I never get sick. This is the worst I've felt in 2 years.
Can you go like a foot that way?
That's what I'm saying.
It's
been supreme. Like,
Thank you.
Shit. Napoleon has some great quote about, like, in battle, morale is 3 parts of better valor or whatever. Basically saying that a lot of times morale and
attitude. Suck it up, bitch. That's what he's saying.
Are more important
yeah.
than your actual skill or be able to handle stuff. And so morale reached an all-time low. But yes, we will suck it up. And I am excited. And we would deal with everything as it comes. And we will fucking prevail. Just like LSU will prevail, beat Georgia's ass on Saturday, become the first 3-loss SEC champion
that's not true. Since
LSU
okay.
in 2001.
Got it.
And reclaim the Sugar Bowl spot from those thieving fucking bastards, the Alabama Crimson Tide.
Yes. Bama's not going to go to the Sugar Bowl, though. Actually, yeah, they will. Bama would go Sugar.
Yeah, Bama will play K-State in the Sugar.
And did you see the report from, I think it was Stuart Mandel today, that the Rose Bowl is considering not taking Ohio State? That the Rose Bowl would take Penn State instead because they've had Ohio State so much. And so that would mean, if that happens, now again, we'll see if it actually happens, but if that happens, that means Ohio State would go to the Orange Bowl against Clemson, and Tennessee would go to the Cotton Bowl against some shitty G5 school that nobody wants to watch.
Yeah, if Tulane wins, they'll go to the Cotton. Is it the same thing for UCF?
Yeah, so Cotton has no tie-ins. So it's at-large against at-large. And so nobody ever wants the G5 school, so they're going to end up going there.
That's what I'm saying. But are the two G5 schools, like, if Tulane wins, they're going to the Cotton. Do you know if it's the same for UCF? Or
Absolutely.
Is there another G5 out there?
Whoever the G5 – oh, so no, I think it would be UCF, yes. I think the winner of this game would be the one that goes.
All right, big game for Willie Fritz in the wave. Willie Fritz staying put.
Yeah, man.
No, I mean, it does piss me off that Alabama's now going to steal your New Year's Six Thunder thanks to that abysmal game last week. I do believe this, though. I don't give a fuck what Boo Corrigan's talking about. I don't see how in the world they could possibly justify flipping Alabama and Ohio State without either of them playing this week.
Oh, there's no way.
And there's no way, exactly. But you know what else fucking pisses me off?
What fucking pisses you off?
This playoff ranking this week has proven more distinctly and clearly than anything I've ever seen the horrible flaws of a 14 playoff. In that.
You're just figuring that out?
No. I'm just saying that, there are other years where it's not this very laid out on the table, right? This first year since 2017, there's not a top 5 matchup on championship weekend. It's one of the only times where you have the 4 teams that are already in all putting their reputations on the line. And 2 little lackadaisical sons of bitches, passive, hanging out, recovering, chilling at home, who may get back into the playoff through no merit of their own, but just because another team had to play an extra game for being too good. Like
Auburn in 2017.
I would.
Auburn lost to Georgia, and Bama took their spot in the playoff.
And
then won the national championship.
Yeah, exactly.
Against Georgia.
And again, I mean, it's a massive advantage for Alabama there to not have to play a great game championship weekend like everybody else did. And so I would say, if I'm the playoff committee, if it really is subjective and you really can choose the teams that are best or most deserving, I would say, you know what? After a season of football, these top 4 are clearly the most deserving. They're playing in their conference championships. So I don't give a fuck what happens this weekend. Ohio State, you're not getting in. Alabama, you're not. I don't think Alabama's getting in either way. But fuck it, dude. I don't care. I would just re-roll the top 4 into the playoff. I don't care if USC loses, TCU loses, especially. TCU should be in automatically. It's just absurd to me.
I'll disagree with you on SC. That's the one where I would say if they lose, I would put Ohio State over. I would put 1-loss Ohio State in over 2-loss USC.
I don't look. So I don't. I agree from like a less emotional, more like, okay, yes, that Ohio State team is very good. I do agree with you there. I guess the injustice, though, like even there, you paint it as 2-loss USC versus 1-loss Ohio State. Well, in the same amount of games, because USC is 1 loss as well.
But in the same amount of games.
And they have
in the same amount of games, then Ohio State should be, in my opinion, ahead of USC. But they're not because of when they lost. Like, if you would reverse them and SC had lost on the last weekend and Ohio State was on the outside
I'm trying to think who has the better resume out of the two.
SC does not have a great win. There isn't a great win on SC's schedule this year. In the last 2 weeks, they beat Notre Dame and they beat UCLA. And their common opponent is Notre Dame, which they both beat. So the question then is, which league would you put more credence in as far as strength?
Did USC have to play Washington this year? They beat Oregon State, who's up to 15. They beat Oregon, who's 16. They beat UCLA, who's 17. That's 3 top 20 wins right there. They lost to Utah, who's 11.
And that was, by the way,
and they beat Notre Dame.
2-point conversion on the last play on the road.
Yeah. So you have Ohio State with wins over number 8 Penn State, which is a better single win than anybody that USC has. But then you got to go all the way to number 21 Notre Dame versus USC having a higher volume of middle tier ranked teams there. So I think there's a real argument to be made about schedule. Yes, Ohio State has more NFL people on the roster.
Strength of schedule, SC 57, Ohio State 34. If you're just looking at strength of schedule. Neither is elite. TCU, for example, is 35. And then you could have strength of record as well. And based on strength of record, SC is 6, Ohio State is 4. So, I would still, I think, have Ohio State ahead of SC if it were me either way. But I understand you're going to value a conference championship, and you should. And so if SC wins there, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah, they should be.
My point is, as we got to this point, is that only when you lose matters. Like if Ohio State had lost a month ago and SC lost this week, they would just switch.
It's a well-made point, and I don't want to belabor the point because I'm fine if USC or TCU gets knocked out and Ohio State gets in. Ohio State's a very good damn football team, and they got beat badly by Michigan, but Michigan's undefeated, and they beat the hell out of everyone else they played. And the Notre Dame and Penn State wins are nice. They're extremely talented, so I'm fine with Ohio State getting in. But it is only those 5. Even if
Alabama's not getting in, I think that's the fear, right? Is what you're saying? Everyone fears that there is.
So the top 3 are in there.
The only
no
path,
matter what, right?
I think TCU is the one that could drop out, which is batshit crazy, but I think they could. But if they lose, what if
USC and TCU lose?
That would be the path. For Bama, is that if 2 teams dropped out?
No, that's what I'm saying. Though to me, that you would have to keep TCU in that mix and then put Ohio State in there. Is what I'm saying.
I would agree to keep Bama out. I'm not sure they would do that.
Oof.
It would be my point because then you'd be looking at. TCU would be a 1-loss team. Bama would be a 2-loss team. The argument for Bama would be I'll tell you this.
They don't have a top 20 win.
I get it. They're because here's the thing. Their losses were. Listen. You're going to talk about. I'm not disagreeing with you. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just laying out what the conversation.
No, I know. I'll give the counter argument.
You have to look at wins, but then also people. I saw people upset that LSU dropped as far as they did. Well, you got blown the fuck out by a 4-win team. That's a bad loss. Bama doesn't have a bad loss. They lost on the road at Tennessee, on the road at LSU, both in dramatic end-of-game fashion. They were an eyelash away from being undefeated. They don't have the – what's their best win?
Okay.
What's their best win?
They don't have a good win. My problem with the close loss argument, Matt, is so if you get somewhat credited for a close loss – should you not get credited or knocked for a close win? Right? If a shitty A&M team was down to the last play, they keep telling me –
Or LSU against Arkansas.
They keep telling me down last play, last play. If A&M was down last play, well, that should ding Alabama. If Texas was down last play, that should ding Alabama. It's the same way that people are saying, Ohio State got blown out. Yes, but Ohio State blew everybody else out.
I got a great idea.
12-team play.
Let's have a full fucking playoff so we don't have to argue over all this stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
Game control and whose loss is better. How about you just go play? Put a fucking bracket together and go play football games. I do not understand for the life of me how any football-loving fan could be against playoff expansion. It does not make a shit dick lick of sense to me one bit how anybody could be opposed to it.
Yeah.
How in the fuck could you be opposed? It's going to ruin the regular season. Fuck you. And it's the same people who.
It'll make it awesome for more teams.
Exactly. Think about the Pelicans last year. How much fun was it down the stretch because you had a chance? They said, well, they don't deserve it. Fuck you, they don't deserve it. They don't go play on the field. Let's find out. Are you kidding me? You telling me you can't make an argument for 12 teams to have a shot to go play it? You can't make an argument for Penn State? You can't make an argument for Clemson or Kansas State or LSU or Tennessee. You can't make an argument.
So
Oregon, the argument exists.
Here's a comment that I always see, and I think it's fundamentally flawed.
Every game's a playoff.
Kobe says 12-team playoff would get Bama in every year. LMAO, even 3 losses. I don't care.
Who cares?
If you lose 3 games, you're not a good team. Right? Like, that's the fucking point. If you lose 3 games, you're not a good team. And so I don't care if that Bama team makes it in the playoffs. It's just like this year's Bama team. This year's Bama team is not good by Bama standards. They're the most beatable Bama team we've seen in years. Not just in the games that they've won, but in the ones that they've lost. They haven't beaten a good team yet this year. I would love for this Alabama team to be in a playoff because they would lose.
Ugh.
So, no, get out of here.
And it would also open up more opportunities for you.
Yes, exactly.
Think about
maybe you go on one of those magical runs.
Who would have wanted to play 06 LSU? Who would have wanted to play 2012 LSU? Who would have wanted to play 2001 LSU? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, the other thing I'll say is teams are allowed to improve over the course of a season.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not your best week 1, okay. Like, LSU this year was a great point of that. Like, you were not good week 1, and you got better as the season went along. Like, you shit your pants last week, but, like, if you take care of business against A&M, you know you got a playoff spot on the line.
So, like, it's like Brian Kelly this week talked about LSU winning with trait over talent. Traits over talent. To me, Alabama this year has been talent over traits, where their raw talent is still as high or higher than anybody in the country, but they're maybe missing some of those core intangibles that they've had at other times that have led to their championship teams. Douglas Herschel says, you guys are full of crap about expansion. You're making the same arguments about far shittier teams. We're having the same discussion about 3 and 4 now that we used to have about 1 and 2. Yeah, but Douglas, that's a law of diminishing returns, right? Once you get down to 11 and 12, nobody's going to get that up in arms about Washington not getting in the playoff, or 9 and 3 Florida State, or 9 and 3 LSU not getting in the playoff. Like, nobody's going to feel badly enough for you to create controversy and be like, oh, we have to change the system.
Bingo.
Because, no, 12 teams are in there. It
is
go to 16,
or go to 16, and what the fuck's wrong with that?
Yeah,
what's wrong with having 16?
I would love that.
Like, what are you afraid of? Like, what's wrong? What's that guy's name?
Douglas Herschel.
And I guarantee you Douglas is the same guy who was saying when we went to the BCS, it's going to ruin football. What about the Sacred Bowls? When we went to 4, it's going to ruin football. What about the regular season? And you know what? Shit keeps growing and getting bigger and better every year.
Yeah, 17 million people.
You know what the problem is? Do you know what the problem is in college football? Is that too many sheep like that guy have guzzled the damn Kool-Aid for too long. They've listened to this bullshit about the sacred regular season, the bowl games, which players tell you right now they do not give a shit about, that are only existing right now as a money grab for dudes in ugly suits and ugly jackets right now, and they bastardize your regular season by force-feeding you 3 bullshit games nobody wants to go to.
Yeah.
Give me 10 games against Power 5 opponents instead of Southern and New Mexico and fucking UAB. Take that shit and shove it up your ass.
But that's
who
probably,
wants to see that?
At that point, though, that's also probably TV deals, right? Because TV needs inventory, and they would want, like, does it make more sense
Get
for TV
inventory
to have,
on an expanded playoff?
No, I'm saying, yeah, no, for sure. But does it make more sense to have 10 Power 5 games or 12 games for, like, TV,
it's
home
part
gate
inventory,
revenue?
But it's gate revenue is the thing. That's why they don't want to give up the gate. That's why it exists. It's why they went to 12. We don't need 12. We also don't need a conference championship. You also don't need a conference championship game. Those exist because it's another TV window. It's a revenue generator for the conferences. You don't fucking need a conference championship game.
Well, it is also nice in an era where you only put 2 or 4 teams in. But you are right. When you put 12 teams in, a conference championship starts to make a lot less sense. Or 16 teams, for that matter.
Ugh.
Now, that said, I hope that LSU can win the conference championship this weekend. And I kind of like, so Douglas says, no one is going to want to watch 4 versus 12.
You're fucking
We can't even have 1 versus 4 be a good game now.
You are fucking stupid.
You will still get blowouts around the edges, but do you know how much fun all the middle games will be?
Fucking
and every now and then you're going to fuck up and get that South Carolina to Tennessee upset, and you're going to be like, holy shit, I never saw that coming.
Can we do this real quick? Hold on. Because every time someone like your boy says some shit like that, let's do the exercise, okay? If the playoff were today, Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Southern Cal get a bye. Your first round would be Ohio State, hosting Washington. Would you be interested in watching that game on television?
Yeah, absolutely.
At the Horseshoe? Yeah, I would too. So fuck that guy.
I
He
would
doesn't have
love
to watch.
to see
he
Michael
can go watch
Penix
lacrosse. Would
try
you
to battle that C.J. Stroud and the Buckeyes. Kalen DeBoer in year one.
How about, would you like to watch Alabama host Utah in a playoff game?
Bad Cam Rising.
Would you like to watch Tennessee host Kansas State in a fucking playoff game?
Yeah.
Would you like to see Penn State host Clemson in a playoff game?
Oh,
who
Penn
the
State
fuck
and
would watch
Clemson
that,
feel
Douglas?
so
No,
equal.
Douglas, I'm sure on that given night you wouldn't be watching that. You'd be fucking rearranging your goddamn shoes. Fucking stupid. It's the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Douglas does have
so
a lot of
stupid.
shoes. A lot
I bet
of
he
shoes.
does. I'm not mad at him. He's just regurgitating bullshit that he's heard for years from people, and he just believes it. It's not his fault.
17 million people watched Ohio State, Michigan. These numbers will only increase if you start to have an expanded playoff. 15 million people watched USA England, for context. And that was on a Friday with no competition in a really nice window here stateside considering.
It was like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not good.
But I'm saying in terms of like the timings of these games, right? 5 a.m., 9 a.m., or 10 a.m.,
Oh, yeah.
1 p.m., and being on a Friday so people could like knock off if they wanted to, or like take an early lunch, take a half day. It's not ideal, but I'm saying it's still impressive that Michigan, Ohio State, highest rated game of the year, beat a World Cup game.
All right, it's Scone T. We got a little bit of a late start, so we apologize. If you're watching on YouTube, even what's his name, Douglas? Douglas, thank you for watching. I'm really not mad at you. I'm just making an example out of you because
Douglas
you're just
said only
regurgitating
wears
bullshit.
work boots and flip flops.
Good for
and
him,
then did
dude.
a dab.
Good for you, bro. Work hard. That's awesome. Work hard, play hard, right? I'm really not mad at him. I just made an example out of him because he made.
Douglas has served the point of a rhetorical hitting tee, essentially, where when you have a point you want to make, you just need someone to set the ball up for you.
Yeah,
and thank you, Douglas. You did a great job of that tonight.
Good job,
thank you very much.
So if you're watching on YouTube, please smash that like button. Facebook, please like the 104.5 ESPN page, share the post. And for all those who are listening, a lot of people listen to the pod audio only.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, thank you. Please subscribe up to the pod as well, the audio only pod. We are at Oliver Twist, Perkins Road in Baton Rouge. Great food as well. Is this spinach artichoke?
That is spinach artichoke dip with some
it's like wonton crackers,
like fried pita chips.
So
maybe?
good, man. All the food here is fantastic. Oliver Twist is it's a great lunch spot, great dinners. They have a full menu, so it's great for dinner as well. All your craft cocktails. T-Bob has become a cock man this year.
I have become a premium cock.
You love premium cock. There's no doubt about that.
I've never had premium cocks like the tails that I've had here. Tonight it's the What's Up Doc. It's tequila, carrot juice, cynar, agave nectar, lemon, and cardamom bitters. I tried it. It's delicious. I am not drinking tonight, though, as
there could
be.
Well,
like I said, I just haven't been feeling good,
good.
and I do not. Now that I'm finally feeling normal, I don't want to throw myself down a hole.
Got it. And this is E.H. Taylor Small Batch. So excited to get into the Colonel tonight.
How much is this?
I don't know what they're doing on the break-even.
This is the break-even? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's break-even. All right, do you want to talk about the LSU Georgia game finally?
Yeah, because I think that LSU did a great job of playing the long game and like a possum pretending to be dead. LSU and Brian, this is how advanced Brian Kelly's staff is. He knew that Georgia's only really locked in when they perceive you as a threat, right? So if you can represent yourself as a Mizzou or a Kent State, that's actually your best chance at kind of catching them unawares. So they're like, you know what? We've already won the West. Lose to A&M badly, seemingly embarrassed. Georgia sleepwalks. Bam! LSU wins. SEC champs, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Great job, Kelly. I mean, that is some next-level planning.
I don't think it is I don't think it's impossible for LSU to win the game.
Can I ask you the question I asked somebody who told me that earlier? Who's like, I think they can, but it's really like, how many times do they win the game out of 10? 2. Okay. I'm putting the over-under at 1.5, and I'm not sure where I land around that yet.
Let's say 2 out of 10.
Okay, so we're about the same. It takes that almost 1 in 10, 15%, 20% beat for LSU to pull this off.
Yeah, I think. So that's 80-20, right?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm quite there, but yeah.
Well, here's the thing with Georgia. with respect to LSU, I think one of the things I know I've said, a lot of people said LSU's not good enough just to roll their helmet out there and beat a team. We saw that last week. You can't just show up and win.
No.
Georgia's good enough to show up, not play their best, and win. Yes. They're talented. They're deep. What I will say about Georgia is where they are flawed. They did lose 15 players to the NFL draft, and their defense has been magnificent this year. But they are not as good, especially in the back end, as they were a year ago. Their front seven, even though you lost all those guys, you still have Jalen Carter. You all know the names. They're really good. You're not going to run against them, so it's where are they susceptible. And I think it takes a team with a specific skill set that might be able to attack, and I think that's through the air. And I think LSU's receivers, you're deep enough and good enough to move the ball. Now, Tennessee could not do that because Hendon Hooker could not get the ball. He was under pressure the whole time.
I mean, my problem is we've also seen that Jaden Daniels is a little unwilling to stretch the field.
But we saw him do it against Florida. We saw him do it against Bama.
Yeah.
And if he is willing to do that in this moment and actually let go of the football, then, yeah. I pulled up. So we used to do this exercise whenever LSU was in the long losing streak to Bama. We'd go and look at games that Bama lost, and inevitably there would be like one a year, and a couple of times it was Hugh Freeze and Ole Miss, or bowl game here or there, and Johnny Manziel beat him in 2012, and so we'd always look, okay, what does it take for the teams that have been able to do? What does it take? So if you go back and look at, in 2 years they've lost one game. And
Georgia, you're talking about?
Georgia,
and it was the SC championship
last year against Alabama. I've said this on a couple platforms, so if you know it, tell me, but if you don't cheat.
No.
Do you know how much Bryce Young threw for last year against Georgia?
When? Which game?
In the championship game, in the Alabama win, the SC championship game.
I feel like everybody has said that the difference in the games was the injury to why am I blanking on the receiver right now? What?
Jamison Williams.
Yes, yeah, sorry. My head is still
No, you're
upset. So I feel like I would say like 300 yards, but I feel like your setup is specifically to tell me, like test-taking theory says that your setup is that he probably threw for like 180 or something.
He did not throw for 300 yards.
Yeah.
He threw for 412 yards.
Oh, shit, never mind. Oh, fuck. Oh, okay, so they fucking shredded him.
They decided we're just going to fucking throw the ball. Bryce Young threw 44 times. They ran it 26, and a lot of that was the game was fucking over. They basically decided we are just going to spin it and let our receivers beat you. Jamison Williams, to your point, had like 180 receiving yards. Like, that is the path to beat this team. You have just got to be able to hit big plays and move the ball through the air because you're not going to run it on them. You're not. Like, they're too good in the front seven at every position. They're better everywhere in the front seven.
Yeah.
So you've just got to be able to move the pocket and stretch the field, make plays. And then you got to be able to hit a big one. Like, Missouri had a 63-yard run, and they won the turnover battle 2-0. Missouri's problem was they kicked 5 field goals in a 26-22 loss. 3 of the field goals were inside of 30 yards. It was like a 22, a 28, and a 29.
Yeah, they couldn't finish drives.
They could not finish the drive. It's like if one of those is a touchdown drive, Georgia's down 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and they don't have enough. Georgia had to score 2 touchdowns late in the fourth quarter to win that game.
Yeah.
So, like, if Missouri – and, again, big if. Credit to Georgia. They're fucking awesome. I get it. But, like, I think LSU got better offensive talent than Missouri does. So that's your path. You've got to be willing to throw the ball 45 times in this game.
The problem is when we've seen Jaden look at his worst recently, it's been when teams have just prioritized playing coverage and kind of spying him, getting pressure with their front 3 or 4, and there's probably not a better defense suited from a talent or discipline standpoint.
I get it.
Than the Georgia Bulldogs.
Didn't say it was easy. Didn't say it was likely.
Yeah.
Like I said, 20%. But if you want the path, I think that's the path to beating Georgia.
So how do you stop them when they're on offense? After what you saw against A&M, if Georgia wants to come out and, like, run you over.
I
guess you have to hope that what you saw against A&M was the exception and not the rule.
But I've got an 11-game sample that suggests that is the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, maybe so.
LSU was completely disinterested in tackling A-Chain. A&M's offensive line blew LSU off the ball, and nobody wanted to tackle. and then we also didn't see a lot of Harold Perkins, which was really bizarre.
Well, and then when you did see Perkins, I mean, A&M did a good job of shutting him down.
Do you have snap counts from the game?
I don't have snap counts. There's
count?
one play that stands out in my head, though. 3rd and 7, the one that Wigman scrambled for in the red zone. It's just all year long, Perkins lined up on the edge. He's looped around to the middle into a spy, and then it's been flushed right to him, and he's killed him. We've seen it happen all year long. And in this game, the guard fits him up, locks him up, and Wigman runs for the first down. So I don't know. Like every time I saw Perkins out there, it didn't seem like he was really doing anything.
Yeah, he was, and Harold Perkins was not injured.
Did he not play a lot, though? I felt like he played a lot. Maybe not.
I would love to see his snap counts. He was not on the field for a lot of
also didn't watch the film again this week.
I don't blame you.
Because I just haven't been feeling good enough.
I want to shout out my niece, Olivia, who's watching.
Hey, Olivia, what's
up, Liv? So, love you.
Why don't you ditch the 0 and get with the hero? Huh? Hell.
No.
What?
That's not.
Nope. There's nothing. I have not said a word. Thank you for listening, Olivia. Sorry that you have such a lame uncle.
I'm the best uncle in the world.
You
have no idea how much I spoil my nieces and
That seems a little self-serving for you to give yourself that title.
I'm the best. I can only be matched, not surpassed.
Again,
I have a kid,
I consider the source of information biased.
I have a child that just doesn't really care about, like, he doesn't